In 2002, I caught my first rainbow trout on fly, and we were up in North Georgia, and we caught several trout that day, and we got out of the stream, went down to the local country store, and we're looking in the cooler and looking for some celebration beers, and I remember seeing a bottle with a green label, and it had a rainbow trout, art on it jumping out of the water, and I thought that's a sign. We got to grab those. I've never seen it before, and so we grabbed a couple 6-packs of those, and I drank my first sip, and it was love at first sip. It was like a really freaking good beer. Besides the cool label, it was just like a damn good beer, and I fell in love with it. We left and grabbed like an extra case to take back to Florida, and took whatever we could. We started running some trips up there. I started spending a lot of time getting more into freshwater fly fishing for trout, and did trips into western North Carolina, North Georgia, and every time we were up in that area, we had to grab some Sweetwater beers, and we drank as much as we could while we were there, and smuggled back to Florida as much as we could for years and years of being up there. And I started looking more into the brewery and finding out who they were, and why they make a really good beer, but what's the story with the label and things like that. And the brewery was just some fishy dudes. They're really into fly fishing. They care about the water. They care about the trout. They care about conservation. And there's all kinds of stories of things they do, and events and conservation efforts. And the more I got to know about them, the more I found out how freaking awesome they were. Besides brewing really good beers, so years went by running trips and getting to know them more, and trying to make that connection with them as much as possible. And it was our beer, our escape from Florida of saltwater, and just getting into the freshwater world of fly fishing, and it was pretty cool. Then in 2011, we were coming up with the idea of opening a fly fishing theme bar, and we thought it would be a cool concept, place for fly fishermen to go when they're not on the water, and a place where you can hang out after, and do some fly tying nights and sell some merchandise, drink beers. We started looking into getting Sweetwater for it, and laying out the concept of a fly fishing bar and how it would work. And it was one of those things. We thought, if you're going to open an Irish pub, you should have Guinness. So if you're going to open a fly fishing bar, you should have Sweetwater. So we started getting closer in 2012, and we were looking at distribution, and turned out that you couldn't get Sweetwater anywhere except in the Panhandle area of Florida at the time. And we were willing to drive up there to get it. It was part of our brand. It was part of what we were going to do of building, a fly fishing bar. And the laws in Florida, we couldn't drive up there and get it, and the way the distribution works in Florida. So we were pretty devastated after that, and we started putting together our whole plan, and just the a fly fishing bar here with the coastal environment and a lot of Florida craft beers that fit well, and we had to roll with that. So we started out, we opened Barfly in 2012, in March 2012, and we just went full throttle with the whole concept. And then probably it was 8 months later, I came in and opened the bar one day. There's a business card on my door and had a note on the back and said, well, we left you something next door. So next door at the time was a hair salon, and down the road we ended up taking over that unit and expanding Barfly. But there was a hair salon there. We went over there and said, did somebody leave something for me? So I talked to them, and they had a 6-pack of beers, and I said, well, that's really cool, this is real. And I looked at the business card, it was somebody from Sweetwater, and a cell phone number on there. So I called the number, and it was Dave and Freddie that came by from the brewery, and they were looking to launch Sweetwater finally in our area. So I talked to them, I told them my whole story, I've been waiting for you guys. And so it turns out they launched into Tampa just months later. I was actually, when we first got the first kegs in Barfly, I was actually in North Carolina on a trip at the time. And I remember on our return day, we drove straight through like 14 hours just to get to Barfly and have the first, Sweetwater beer on tap at Barfly. And it meant a lot to me. It was a big deal to me. We had been waiting for it for so long, so it was so exciting. And once that happened, it was full throttle. I mean, we did everything we wanted to do in the beginning, just the co-branding. We started tagging the official beer, fly fishing. I felt like it was always that, and it meant a lot to us. It meant everything about what we are about and what our brand is about. And I spent a lot of time since getting to know some of the guys at the brewery and fly fishing with some of them, and going up there, and I make my visits when I'm up in the area and fish with some of those guys in North Georgia and North Carolina. And I love the area. And the brewery is just awesome. They brew some really, really badass beers, and we're super excited to just have Barfly, a part of it. And since then, we've just been really happy with it, and Barfly and Sweetwater and fly fishing live happily ever after.
In the ATL, that's my homeboy. Watch your back if you're gonna walk alone, boy. Cause everybody in the homeboys tryna get rich. You could get hit even if you know 'em, boy. We the kings of the South. Pies in the oven, grills in the mouths. Count stacks is a usual norm. College Park, Bank Hill, where the hustle was born. So peace up and A-Town down. 4-4 living with the 808 sound. Nightlife popping, ain't nobody stopping. Cutting up a rug when the beat dropping. The dirty birds nest here, and then the haters get to talking. Then they falling on the deaf ears. This is where trap music was born, on the 50-yard line of the Georgia Dome. In the ATL, pop that, drop that. Dirty birds, you ain't never gonna stop.
Chubby Chernobyl, baby.
Video.
That's all we're throwing. No tandem, no fucking dropper, no bullshit. Fuck that noise. We are gonna... And then we are going to skate it.